Kams audio son, you burn the swine when no want you shine. The tree of life, them no want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Kams I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, Red Hat.
Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money never, money never, money never, money never, money never, money. Now know what you can even money, money never, money never, money never, money never, money never, money. You can keep, you can even money. When you've been a corrupt bum, in a bills there'll be money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, in a bills there'll be money. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money never, money never, money, money never, money, money. Now know what you conniving money. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me work for. A 2 pound note and a guilda piece. A 2 pound note and a guilda piece. A 2 pound note and a guilda piece. That's all the money that me work for. I said money never, money never, money, money never, money, money. Now I know what you can even money.
Keep a fire burning, Red Joshua representing for Kams audio son. Red.
Well, I invoke the WPA's position that we are engaging in civil disobedience and non-cooperation with the government. And on that grounds, I refuse to participate in the interview. The question in struggle, is not personal. Whatever sacrifice as a political activist or a political leader you have to make for your people, you have to make it.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Kams TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruptions over land and sea, where the wicked politicians they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. There's one set of people getting aisle money. There's one set of people doing the tea for it. Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see. Sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which has ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Rickford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, Port People Governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
talk. Let me share this secret with you guys. It is part of your 5 senses. What God bless you with. Look, listen, Lord, and then talk. That is all I have to say today. Be careful with AFC. Return back to PNC and WP.
For your call. Right, so let's take care of business. The birth anniversary and the anniversary of Kams TV. The dinner and dance will take place on the 15th. Yes, July 15th. Dinner time is 18 hours. Dinner time is 18 hours. And the cost is $10,000. $50 per ticket. That includes 3-course dinner and beverage. Right, of course, there will be a cash bar, a well-stocked cash bar. For those of you who want to imbibe more than your cover price allows you, there will be a well-stocked cash bar. So let's start buying those tickets now. I'm waiting. Make your ticket orders. I think Wanda was calling just now. I didn't answer her call. Anyhow, the lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. You tune to the Guyanese morning time. Let's celebrate, because you know after celebration is hard work. We always do that. We work hard year round. And that is why I take my time and I celebrate my anniversaries, my birth anniversary. I start celebrating the month before the actual time and so on. Likewise, it's Kams TV's 3rd year. And so we have a right to celebrate. We have had many victories along the way. And so let's celebrate them together on the 15th of July. Tickets, $10,000. All-inclusive thing that. Call A Live, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Kadaki. Good morning, everybody. Now coming back to the revelation of that little girl. We could remember going back, I think it was last year, when the same individual, the perpetrator of the act, was trying to lure a young woman all the way from across the ocean back to Guyana for his sexual exploits. Now, when we listen to what the ordeal of that little girl, you do not have to imagine what he does to his wife in the
Rhonda, okay, you must stay away from these personal matters. You ain't got no right in the man's bedroom whether or not he's accused of rape.
All right, anyway. Now when Australian Kadaki, a leopard don't run from its stripes, does always keep the stripe. And wherever you put out, that may tell who you are. Now coming back to this man who was talking about things in Linden, I could remember going back to 1992 when Jagon was running for the country. And when he went to Linden, when the people asked him what he think, he said, excuse me, down with bauxite, up with sugar, up with rice. At the time, bauxite was our main that was our main, that used to sustain us mostly, the sales of bauxite to outside. And he crippled the bauxite company because a lot of African peoples were in the bauxite company. And he upped sugar and he upped rice that could not have sustained the growth of the country. And when someone in the group said, when the rice failed and the sugar failed, because people with sense started to see where sugar was going after the big strike, he said drugs will do it. Now this person on that thing, and I'm glad for the Pegasus, he said, tell you, Pegasus is good and bad, not for only certain people. It is every people that it comes in contact with. All right, we're going to hear everybody business. Now, the same person now is going to say that we will bring jobs. What jobs will they bring? And the names that he call, when they go there, they will be looking for their own financial gains. And I am glad that things like this could be made public. And I am glad again for people like you. I don't want to go to the thing, but all these social media outlets where we can get credible and audible news. Now coming to the election, I think it is time that GECOM disband and get a new organization, because a local government election where they tried to set it on, they had to think about 35,000 votes, I think, were being cast because
Help me share the program. Let's talk to 1 million people this morning.
And them woman stronger than a wall. A big pusher iron she daughter. Son in jail for manslaughter. Too bad for you, hear them bad boys. No bail, that's the black man's choice. Like Shadow say, poverty
the ghetto. We are not a forgotten people. You're welcome. With tented private soldier on, revolution state politicians born, and often their tragic story brings a journalist glory. No wonder they view the world with scorn. From since the day they're born, some call them rebels without a cause. These social victims of unjust laws.
Share the program using WhatsApp and share the program. Use your messenger and share the program. Share it wherever you can. Start Dharam Lal. This morning's program is dedicated to Dharam Lal.
Begin run when cops approach, fighting for scraps with the cockroach. Young Turks, they're tough, protecting almost every young girl expecting. So tomorrow, kids to the borough, there'll be another voice from the ghetto. Crying, Lord, crying, crying. Voices from the ghetto. From the ghetto. Social amenities, Lord, heaven knows.
Share up.
Opportunities are them always close. Can't get what once said white collar. So if you can't stretch your dollar, it's later for you crackers. You're short of bread from pride. Life doesn't rate dignity and pride. Till there's only bitterness left inside. And every day is a hustle. Arguments are settled with muscle. And you're 6 feet deep by 3 wide. Children to life keep on drifting. It's something that's smoking or sniffing. Maybe they're trying to forget this life of misery and regret. No one to come to their rescue except cable ton and bourgeois. So their boom boxes better go. Drummers voices from the ghetto. Voices from the ghetto. Voices from the ghetto. I was born and bred in the ghetto. I'm from the ghetto.
Good morning. Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by the Buxtonian Kidaki Amsterdam. I'm your host. Share the live. Share however you could share, you share it. Share it by WhatsApp, share it by Facebook, share it by Messenger. Share it however you can share it. Share it by regular text messaging. Copy the link and share it. Morning, welcome to the program. This morning, I don't intend to do too much talking, but I know I'm gonna got a lot to say, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't want to do too much talking. I think I've lined up some appropriate music to do the talking for me, because I'll tell you seriously, this thing is emotional. Thank you very much to all those of you who sent me Father's Day greetings yesterday. If I didn't respond, I'm sorry that I didn't respond, but I tried to respond to all of them. especially those that came into my WhatsApp, I did say, and I continue to say, if you want me to respond to anything that you sent with urgency, please send it to my WhatsApp. Messenger is crazy for me. I rarely ever go on Messenger because it's crazy. There are about 4 messengers interconnected. And so, you know, the madness to sort out messages over there. So I'm begging you to do that for me. I hope you treated your man well. Not to say your man, right? Your child father, your baby father, your husband, your spouse, whatever you want to call him. I hope the fathers in your life, your uncles and your nephews and so on, I hope the fathers in your lives were treated well yesterday, because we need them, you know. I don't care how strong a woman is. The presence of a man in a child's life makes a whole lot of difference, right? Even if that man is there not contributing financially, his presence makes a difference. I can tell you that. I'll tell you, I always talk about socialization. Socialization is the responsibility of families. And so what our male children perform in society for the most part is what they see their fathers perform. Right? It is dependent on how they are guided by their fathers. We say, chivalry is dead. You don't have young men opening car doors and so on for women and giving them the coat to step on when it rains and so on and so forth. It is not that chivalry is dead. It is that males are failing too, in part. The mores and norms of society to their younger generation. The women could come in for the condemnation too. A lot of women are not demanding standards. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about male and the impact of a man in the home and a man around. Right? They got the saying that there are sometimes men in the home and sometimes they're men of the home. Right? So you have to decide which way you're going to be. But the reality is, our men have a lot of influence on our children, especially boys. Especially boys. And so it doesn't strike me as strange this morning when I am told that the allegations that are made against a sitting minister of government are allegations similar to those which were made against his male role model, or who I assume would have been his role model. Right? Y'all got to read in between the lines sometimes. Sometimes I don't say everything. But children look at their fathers as their heroes. And so the examples we set as fathers are the consequences, quite frankly, that society will have to deal with. Might I remind you that this is not a calling time for the program. Right? But let's stop. Why did I open up with Singing Sandra, Voices of the Ghetto? Because Singing Sandra, through her song Voices of the Ghetto, has identified what a lot of people go through because of poverty. You're poor, you want to go out there, you want to find a job to help out the situation at home. People recognize your disadvantaged state and they want to take advantage of that. According to Sandra, they want to put you in all kinds of positions except a job position. And when you agree or you've gone through all of those positions, you still don't know if you can get a job position. I want you to recognize something. The people identified in that song for the greater part are members of the moneyed class, members of the rich, the big, the people that access to money and resources. And the access to money and resources is what is used to further disadvantage citizens of this and every society. Understand that. I don't want you to run away from that. Because for the greater part, when you listen to allegations of rape being made against people and nothing coming out of it, you come to understand that nothing is coming out of it because the people the allegations are made of have resources to make those allegations disappear. They got money, and they got reach, they got contacts. And they use their money and their contacts to make those allegations disappear. Listen, right now we are talking about an allegation against a sitting minister of government, Nigel Daramlal, based on allegations made by a then 15-year-old, she's now 16, that he raped her while she was yet a minor. "19 pages of documentation, plus screenshots of text messages, etc. But within 48 hours, that young lady was made to recant her story. Don't let us get ahead of ourselves. That young lady was made to recant her story. A statement was written. And those who examine the statement will tell you that despite the brilliance of the young lady in her documentation of the incidents, that statement of disclaimer was not written by her. Look at the language. But as time went by, what did we learn? That statement was bought for $10 million. I'm understanding the $10 million was paid in two parts. $5 million, 50% down and 50% come later. Money was used to hush her up. I say, like I said, don't let us get ahead of ourselves. Money was used to shut her down. Her father, her mother, maybe other relatives participated in that negotiation for $10 million. It is alleged that Priya Manichan, who says she has responsibility for all learners, suddenly she woke up and realized she has responsibility for all learners. She did not take that responsibility when the dorms were burnt and 19 Amerindian girls were killed by fire. She didn't take that responsibility, but in this instance, in the instance of allegations of rape being made against Daramlal, Priya woke up and realized she has responsibility for her learners. What did she do? She used the resources of the state, allegedly. Education officers to reach out to the young lady and her family to set up meeting so that they can create a pathway for Daramlal, allegedly, to pay $10 million to shut the young lady down. But the moneyed class, I want us to keep our eyes on the moneyed class. I want us to recognize how the state's resources are being used against poor people in this country by this government. And it is not only members of the government that are doing this. Let me give you a long list. Well, it might be short. Let me give you a list of rape allegations in recent times where hush money was paid, or nothing simply came out of the matter. Let us start with the senior policeman who had Soku. Can you remember that sexual misconduct allegations were made, and it was recommended that that policeman be charged criminally? Do you remember that? Nothing came out of that. I understand that there are allegations currently against a senior member of staff or senior operative of Gafur's. Nothing has come out of that. I understand that there are rape allegations, at least statutory rape allegations, against a well-known member of the Amerindian community, former member of the Tushau Council, former Tushau. Nothing is coming out of that. There have been several allegations of sexual misconduct against Dharamlal. The last known, or the previously known, was the young lady from the United States, which is alleged he sent photos of a penis to, and you have the whole conversation was on social media. I discussed it in this program. Right? So, there are a long list of allegations of sexual misconduct. Don't let us go into the allegations against the one that is in the office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for NCN. And I want to say this to you. I hinted it last week and I'm saying it again this week. In the previous PPP government, Nigel Dharamlal functioned in the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs, I think, as permanent secretary. And so I'm challenging the authorities not to only focus on this recent allegation by this young lady, but I'm saying let them dig deep, and they may very well find a trail of sexual misconduct by this individual. They may very well find a trail. I see one of the viewers this morning said she was informed that there are more than 30 allegations against this individual. Right? And the question therefore is, why is this individual still in the seat of government, in the corners of power, with access to the nation's children? Especially the Amerindians, the First People, as they say, the indigenous community. Why is this man still in the corners of power with access to the children of the indigenous community? People were asking the other day why Schumann has not made a statement, and why this person has not made a statement, and why that person has not made a statement. Well, I will tell you why they have not made statements. Because similar allegations have been made against a lot of them who you are asking to make statements. So it's a situation of birds of a feather. And since it is a situation of birds of a feather, I won't talk against you because you know things against me. In the details revealed by the young lady, she said what? Schumann cautioned them and told them to beware of Nigel Dharamlal. I wonder if anybody has ever cautioned them and told them to be aware of Schumann and others in the corridors of power. I wonder. Because what is clear in this society is that once you're in the corridors of power, you can do people as you like when you like. And you won't have to face one day in court. They say that Dharamlal has proceeded on administrative leave at his own request. The fat guy sitting in the seat of president did not send him on administrative leave, but rather I heard a recording with the fat guy telling Gordon Mosley, let them report it to the police station. That's not leadership. That's not protecting our children. That is just following the ideology of the PPP, which is always when accusations are made against their operatives, bring the evidence. When we get the evidence, we will deal with it. But the fact is, follow the timeline. Nigel Dharamlal requested administrative leave after it was alleged that he already paid $10 million to silence the victim and her family. And so asking for administrative leave so that an investigation can proceed after you have paid the family to silence them is just trying to pull wool over people's eyes, because the possibility is they will not come forward to give a statement, and so there will be no complainant, and so the investigation will say enough evidence was not available to determine guilt or innocence of Dharamlal. Money is being used against the poor people to do them as you like. But this problem that is highlighted with Dharamlal is a bigger problem in our society. It's called rape culture. And it's accepted by many in our society. It is glorified by many in our society. I have a 2-minute video I want you to look so you will understand what rape culture is. And so when you see it happening before your eyes, you will identify it. But before I go there, I want to issue a call this morning. And I'm saying all of the victims or the alleged victims of rape by representatives of any government, also representatives of the PPP of 23 years plus, I'm encouraging you, step forward. Become part of the Me Too movement in Guyana. The Me Too movement in the US started with a simple allegation of rape. And then it took on what they call a snowball effect. More and more allegations started to surface against that individual. I am saying to Guyanese citizens, if you were interfered with, if you believe you were raped, if you think you were sexually victimized by this and other individuals of the government, step forward and make it known. Step forward and make it known. Let's hear about rape culture.
It's in movies, in video games, in fashion, and in music.
Put Molly all in her champagne. She ain't even know it. I took her home and I enjoyed that. She ain't even know it.
Rape culture is all around us. But what is it? Rape culture is the normalization of sexual violence against women. You see it in society's attitudes and institutions. It's the trivialization of rape that makes people ignore it, joke about it.
I replaced her pepper spray with silly string. Anyway, that night she got raped.
Or think it only happens in dark alleys. A recent example? In response to rape charges brought against him, singer CeeLo Green tweeted, "Women who have really been raped, remember," then deleted it. Actually, CeeLo, raping someone while they're unconscious is still rape, as is any sex without consent. And unfortunately, it's far more common than you might think.
Stop fighting it, just give into it. I don't know why I'm quoting a rapist.
In the United States, nearly 1 in 5 women have reported being raped at some time in their lives. But the consequences of rape culture are probably worse than we know. Only 40% of rapes even get reported. Only 10% ever lead to an arrest. And out of every 100 rapes, only 3 rapists will ever spend a single day in prison. That leniency is a big part of rape culture. Across U.S. college campuses, the story isn't too different. 1 in 5 women is sexually assaulted. Again, it often goes unpunished. Columbia University student Emma Solkowicz, who says she was raped in her dorm, kicked off this school year with a powerful protest.
I will be carrying this dorm room mattress with me everywhere I go for as long as I attend the same school as my rapist.
Campus sexual assault is so rampant that the White House has even assembled a task force to deal with it. But that's not all the government has on its hands. Sexual assault in the military is even more widespread. 1 in 3 women is assaulted by a fellow service member, and 62% of women who reported their assaults suffered retaliations. Victim blaming is a big part of rape culture. That means faulting the girl for what she wore, what she drank, and how she acted, instead of blaming the actual rapist. In 2012 in Steubenville, Ohio, 2 high school football players raped a 16-year-old girl who had passed out after drinking too much. But in this tight-knit town that loves its football, it was the victim that received a lot of the blame, while the football players received sympathy. And though they were convicted and served jail time, one is already back on the team. What does that tell you? Rape culture means images of objectification and violence against women are so common, we're practically desensitized to them. So how can we build a culture of respect and consent instead? Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook.
Rick wants to know if I know the meaning of allegation. Yes, Rick, I also know how to spell it. Because you don't know how to spell it. But I know how to spell it and I know the meaning. But that's not the point of discussion this morning. The point of discussion is that rape culture is present and it's accepted in the corridors of power in this country. And when I say corridors of power, I'm talking about the moneyed class. A lot of them are in government, but many of them are in private sector also. Y'all remember years ago there was a story with a certain businessman on Kams Street and a 14-year-old. The same businessman had a child born and gave a black brother who was working as security. He is a part of the moneyed class, and he too is a part of the problem. There are lots more.
Love to fool around the young girls them. Anyone you see that you feel run them. It's a one all about the place. Dirty this around the place. Too much young girl I carry belly. Rasta said that leave the young girls them alone. As a big man you living too naughty. Give them a chance to see their future can be more than just a baby mother. Leave the young girls them alone. As a big man you living too naughty. Give them a chance to see their future can be more than just a baby mother. What could I answer? How can you have the heart to have a school girl in bed and feel like everything's alright? And some of them under them make money and bribe to their suffering, living in a house to pay. Yes, I know you get so bright. Oh, you feel pick your foot and in a right. And you then feel locked up in a prison, yeah. You mashing up the young girls, them life. Man, I raise them little daughter. And you shouldn't have the privilege to so free road, yeah. If Babylon, them not set the order. Man and man, not got taking the further. Leave the young girls, them alone. As a big man, you're living too naughty. Give them a chance to see their future can be more than just a baby mother. Leave the young girls, them alone. As a big man, you're living too naughty. Give them a chance to see their
quick wants to know what's wrong with innocent until proven guilty. Well, let me say something. I've already made up my mind. Rebecca, I've made up my mind. If you want, and if you really believe in innocence until proven guilty, I challenge you. Leave one of your young female family members in the care of Dharamlal and any other who those allegations have been made against. I challenge you to do that. Because until it affects some of you, until it gets closest to some of you, you're going to continue with this nonsense and continue to protect pedophiles and miscreants in the corridors of power. And I have no apology for saying that. I have a daughter. I have a son. I have nieces and nephews. And so I'm not going to say I wish. Some of the things that this man is accused of doing to other people's children fall upon yours. Because they say when you dig an hole, dig for two. I don't want to dig no hole for nobody. But until some of y'all feel it, y'all ain't going to recognize and accept it. I want you to listen. I'm going to play a clip. I'm playing a clip here from Mudwater. And I want y'all to listen carefully to Mudwater clip. Because there are some nuggets in there. For example, listen out to him talking about the one who was made pregnant and beaten. I want y'all to listen to it.
So you can get updates from this channel. Now, let me bite into this story with Minister Mushroom. A while back, there were some leaked screenshots circulating of a conversation between him and a little thing he was planning to hook up with during an official trip to New York. A part of the exchange between him and the young lady was his mushroom. If you're a member of the underworld, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, as much as this story was scandalous and we had a good laugh, we didn't follow it up because quite frankly, it was nobody's business. But we started keeping a closer eye on Minister Mushroom. A little while after that incident, he told an opposition member of parliament during his speech that she needed a dildo.
Then, you gotta get a dildo. That's what you're looking for.
Despite widespread condemnation for this comment, there was no reprimand for Minister Mushroom. Moving on to a little while after that, we received reports that he impregnated an underage girl from an indigenous community, then assaulted her after she initially refused to have an abortion. In the midst of us trying to ascertain whether these allegations were true, the folks suddenly went silent. It was rumored that they received hush money. Now you would like to think that the bucket bent and the story end, but hear this new piece of stunt here.
A 16-year-old schoolgirl in an open letter to the president has alleged being groomed, preyed upon, and sexually assaulted by the Minister of Local Government, Nigel Dharamlal. News source made repeated efforts to get a comment from the minister today. Both of his known numbers went to voicemail on several occasions. There are reports that the president and the Minister of Education have both been made aware of the allegations. A senior education official reached out to the girl today to set up a meeting with the education minister, news source has learned. In the letter which was seen by news source, the teenager detailed being allegedly contacted by the Minister of Local Government via WhatsApp and Facebook, and conversations taking place between the two. She also detailed meetings that allegedly took place at the minister's office, and financial gifts being thrown at her by him. She also detailed being taken to the home of the minister and allegedly being forced to perform sexual acts by him and eventually being allegedly sexually assaulted by him. In the letter, she said she was raped and left feeling broken after the alleged incident at the home back in December. The teenager attached various messages from her phone and social media accounts that were allegedly sent to her by the minister. She complained of being hounded down by him repeatedly with phone calls and messages. She also said that before the alleged sexual assault, herself and other teenage girls had been warned by two other government officials about him. In a statement, President Irfan said while he has seen the reports of the allegations, he has not received any formal complaint. However, he noted that any complaint will be fully investigated by the relevant authorities.
But I've seen the posts on Facebook and everything.
Okay.
And as I have said to Newsroom, my position on these matters are very clear. I don't condone or tolerate any behavior like that. And once any facts is established, anyone found guilty of any misconduct will be held accountable.
But having seen the allegations, sir, even if a report is not made, do you intend to ask the minister to step aside to allow for a proper investigation to be done?
No, but Muslim, once, that's what I'm saying, once the facts is established and a report is made, then I'll have to take the necessary action. But as of now, what I have is the post that everybody have.
Minister Mushroom is back on the front burner. I must say, this young lady reached out to us a while back before this story broke out. She detailed her encounters with Minister Mushroom, which suggests a textbook case of grooming and sexual assault. He even destroyed her Bamsi pleas. According to her, we were debating internally how to move forward with this story, which is sensitive due to her age. Then, pops, an open letter is published to the president. The young lady said that one of the women she confided in issued that letter against her wishes. Then I saw a Facebook post that suggests that she might have collected a bath, just like the one who got impregnated and beaten, allegedly. We have her on record telling her story, but it is not our place to force the issue. If she got paid off and does not want to pursue justice, it's her beauty pleats modest stunt, not mine. Let's debate in the comments. Do you think this matter is worth investigation, or do you think all the allegations against Minister Mushroom are baseless? Also,
I want to say this. In fact, I might want to finish.
Why do you think the president is waiting for an official complaint before he takes action? Is there any avenue for persons who are assaulted by government officials to get justice? Which police will investigate? Let me know in the comments and let's keep the conversation open. By the way, there's also another leaked conversation with another minister who sent his baby mushroom, if that's trending in the underworld. We're going to call him Minister Baby Mushroom from now on. If you're interested in joining the Underworld Tech Ups, use the link in the description. GuyanaUncut.com. My name is Mudwater. Boom out!
Hold up.
Yes. Let me say this. Rape happens in the Guyana Police Force. It's covered up. Rape happens in the Guyana Defense Force. It's covered up. Rape happens by friends or big ones in power. It's covered up. Sickening enough. But what is more sickening is when the people that you expect to defend you allow their silence to be bought. When the people you expect to defend you allow their silence to be bought. And this morning I want to call out the father and the mother of this child, because I see them as nothing else but our pimps. I see them as nothing else but our pimps. And they are part of the problem. Because this child was bold enough to make her statements and make them public. If you listen to Mudwater, they had it before it even went public. But yet Ali says he has never seen the letter. Let me ask this question. Why Ali did not see the letter? Is it because the letter got into the hands of somebody who sought to protect Darmlal from these allegations? Or is it Ali is saying he did not see the letter because he failed to act on it in a timely manner and he is therefore covering his ass? There must be a reason for him not seeing the letter, because the young lady said she sent it to all of these varying places. The law must take its course. Anybody who takes money to participate in this cover-up or cover-up of these allegations must be made to face the court for the perversion of the course of justice. And I'm saying this morning, quite frankly, our mother and father and anybody else who sat around that table to negotiate $10 million must be dragged before the court and made to explain their behavior and let them face their consequences. I read the letter, I read the notes, it's right here, I have it. One of the things she said is, y'all lend me a helping hand before I did. Don't wait until I die to address this issue. And so our parents will come to realize at some point in time that $10 million cannot buy their daughter's dignity. $10 million cannot buy their daughter's sanity after what she alleged that she has gone through. And $10 million certainly can't buy back a child. Because if she doesn't come to a point of believing that she was treated fairly in this instance, it's likely that she's going to go to the extreme. She said, y'all help before I die. I'm paraphrasing. Help before I die. I'm understanding this morning that certain courses of action have been taken. We're going to talk about them just now. But like I tell you, I ain't really want to talk too much. I'm playing some music for y'all getting messages. Fathers are expected to protect their children, and more importantly, their daughters. In that letter, the young lady said when she told the minister, she alleged when she told the minister that her mother was going to be going to his office or wherever to meet him to collect something. He said, oh, my mother-in-law is coming. And her next words in that message was, mother-in-law. Damn lad is 50-something or whatever his age. My parents are X and Y age. In short, she was saying, this man is even older than my parents. This man is even older than my parents. And therefore, this man should have been in a position of my parents protecting me. But instead, it is alleged that he violated that trust. He violated that trust allegedly.
Stop it, Daddy. Daddy, stop it now. I'm going to tell on you now. Oh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Every day I wonder why my daddy had to be the one to take away my innocence. Oh, sometimes I wanna die. It feels like no one cares for me, and it's evident that something must be wrong with me. I'm not as happy as I seem to be. The long showers I take don't wash away the memories. Why do I have to face these tragedies? We go through struggles in life on my way, but to have my daddy touching me, that's just not fair. Stopping from destroying my future. Believe me, he's behaving like a creature. Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. To all your mothers out there, give a listening ear. Pay attention even if the man a pastor. You have to make sure before you trust him with your daughter. Plus him will even try to take your son as brother. Watch it if you don't keep with some dirty water. You can't hide no more, no, you have to meet your karma. If you know say it's a one and turn a blind eye, then you just judgment I go pile up out of mile high. Get suicidal if you think it I go save you, because me sure say you not go get fisty the savior. Me just can't find a name for your behavior. It's a lucky thing me got a nosy neighbor. Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. When you feel like giving up, just shake it off and live it up. The most I will deliver you. Can't jump the rope if you not try. So wipe that tears there from your eye. Get the wings of confidence to make you fly. Tribulations are just to make you stronger. Love yourself and it will help you forget over. Any place where hurt a little youth will never prosper. I'm passing on the message from the master. Every day I wonder why my daddy had to be the one to take away my innocence. Oh, sometimes I wanna die. It feels like no one cares for me, and it's evident that something must be wrong with me. I'm not as happy as I seem to be. The long showers I take don't wash away the memories. Why do I have to face these tragedies? We go through struggles in life. I'm aware, but to have my daddy touching me, that's just not fair. Stopping from destroying my future. Believe me, he's behaving like a creature. Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Every day I wonder why my daddy had to be the one to take away my innocence. Oh, sometimes I wanna die. It feels like no one cares for me.
Sometimes I wanna die. It seems like no one cares for me. The young lady said she's disappointed in her parents because the people that she should have looked at for protection and the people who should have stood up for her saw her as a bank book. They saw her as a checkbook. They saw her as their avenue out of poverty. I can't see it any other way. As I can't see them as anything but pimps and hustlers. And like I said, all those who facilitated this meeting, this alleged meeting for this payment arrangement, must be made to face the law. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Are you morning? Welcome to another program of the Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by the Buxtonian, Kidaki Amsterdam. Welcome. It is 22 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. 7 o'clock, sorry. It is 22 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour. And you're tuned to yet another program. I hope you had a good yesterday, however you would have made that happen. I trust that you achieve your set goals. I trust that you were encouraged to work a little harder to achieve those goals and to achieve quote-unquote betterment for your family and your friends and your relatives in this country. I hope that you decided to redouble your efforts to ensure that we get good governance in this country. Those are just some of my hopes. Whether or not they will be reality is another thing. But you have to dream. Dreams do become reality. But you don't just dream, you have to dream and work the dream. And your dreams will be reality. I hope you made lots of money yesterday. Lots and lots of money. Not just money, but lots and lots of money. Right? Because when you think about what? 50,000 US? That's a drop in the ocean. Right? 50,000 US is a drop in the ocean. When you think that you live in a society where people believe that the dignity of your children and your family can be bought for 10 million Guyana dollars, $1 million Guyana is 5,000 US. So your dignity, your family's dignity, your child's dignity and sanity can be bought for 5,000 US, 50,000 US dollars. If you don't want it sold for that price, you really gotta be making a lot of money, so that you don't fall victim to that. You see, poverty, like we say, poverty is a vicious cycle. Poverty causes a lot of people to do a lot of things. Forces a lot of people to do a lot of things. Some of us are strong, we can resist. Others are not. But what really is the price for somebody's dignity? What really is the price for somebody's sanity, somebody's well-being? That's what I'm forced to ask this morning. This morning's program is entitled Rich Man's Privilege, Poor People's Pain. And that is what money is. That is what the access of resources, access to resources is. I grew up hearing all kinds of things. The love of money is the root of all evil and all kinds of things. But I also heard them say it is better to cry in a Lamborghini than on a bicycle. And I also noticed, I also recognized, I also saw that if you want to really defend the dignity of your family, you best get access to money. You best get access to money. And so I encourage you to make a lot of money. Ensure you make a lot of money. Make a lot of money. Now, a lot of them would like us to sit back and say this is a criminal matter. Right? Say it's a criminal matter and leave it as that. But this matter is not only criminal, it is political. This is someone with political power. This is someone who has access to the agencies of the state and can use the agencies of the state to coerce, to bully, to silence, to provide coverage. And so don't be fooled. Don't let them fool you and tell you this is a criminal matter and the politicians should stay out of it and the activists should stay out of it and the influencers should stay out of it. As a matter of fact, if those groups of people had stayed out of it, it would have not been given the attention it is currently given. Ordinarily, a man is accused of sexual crimes. Rape, to be more specific, he gets arrested right away. As soon as they could find it, they arrest him. Ordinarily, that man is placed behind bars for 72 hours. The modus operandi of the police force is when they arrest you for anything, they keep you for 72 hours before they charge you or release you on bail. Because that 72 hours is critical to their investigation. That 72 hours is when they do all kinds of things to you to make you talk. Ask the ordinary citizens of this country what they go through in that 72 hours. They get starved, they get tortured, they get thrown overboard. They get all kinds of things happening to them. So by the end of that 72 hours, they're going to beg to talk. Right? They're going to beg to talk. But when it comes to those who have access to the corridors of power, those who are wielding political power in this country, those who have access to money, they don't get locked up for 72 hours. They don't get locked up for 72 hours. As a matter of fact, if I were to check the timings, they don't even get locked up for 6 or 12 hours. And by extension, they don't get tortured, they don't get ill-treated. Right? They don't get ill-treated. And so here we are, allegations were made against Dharamlal, a sitting minister of government since last week. Mid last week thereabout. The police did not make any effort to arrest him on Friday afternoon, like they would have tried to arrest any of us, ordinary citizens, on Friday afternoon, so that they could keep us over the weekend and torment our souls. They did not issue wanted bulletin. They did not issue a statement to the press. But after lunch Monday, Dharamlal turns up with a lawyer. Turns up with a lawyer. The press was not present. Nobody in leaked from the police department that they were contacted and Dharamlal was going to be showing up at X time or Y time. Turned up with his lawyer. And then the police issued a statement later to say, yes, he turned up with his lawyer and he was placed under arrest. What they didn't tell you is that shortly after placing him under arrest, he was granted $1 million station bail. He was granted $1 million station bail. And so he didn't spend hours in the lockup. Assuming he was placed in the lockup, my guess is that he was made to sit on a bench. I wonder if he was mugshot. Did any of you saw his mugshot? Did anybody see his mugshot? I have not seen any mugshot. I hate it when they take mugshot and they mugshots and they say, Negro. Did they do his mugshot and put Kuli? Because those are what they refer to us loosely as. Did they do that? Or Indian self? I didn't see a mugshot. Here goes Kamal Rampasad. I told you all about the trenches. This is a private matter, it's not a public matter. I want people to behave as intellectually lazy as y'all, dunces y'all. Because that will give you all the easy way out. So here is Dharamlal on bail within hours of being arrested or within hours of going to the police station. with his lawyer. $1 million bill. And it was paid, right? It was paid. I wonder by whom? I wonder where the $10 million came from. I wonder how it is possible for a public servant, damn lad is a public servant, to be able within 48 hours, let me give him 48 hours to find $10 million, $10 million to use as hush money. To use as money to quiet down this allegation. I wonder where the money came from. And I'm saying all those people who contributed to making the money available are part of the evil and should be charged as accessories to the crime. The crime of perversion of the course of justice. Y'all think it's one crime committed in this instance? There's rape, there's buggery, perversion of the course of justice, right? Or attempt to pervert the course of justice. There might very well be witness tampering. Keep your eyes out on these things. Because if you have money in this country, you have privilege. If you have money, you have privilege. And it is clear as day. Dharamlal has access to money. He has access to political power. As a sitting minister of government, he used both of them. Access to money and access to political power and access to the people's children and access to the agencies of state to victimize this young lady. In case you missed it, he was functioning as the minister of local government and regional development. When he first encountered her as they were planning a pageant, he became her patron for the pageant. He lured her to his home, he lured her to his office. Allegedly. These are all allegations by her statements. He enticed her. Have you paid attention to the amount of money she mentioned in her statement on several occasions? He used state power, state authority. As a transfer student, she apparently was getting difficulties getting her stipends. Getting her stipends. And what he did, he used his influence. I'll tell you something here when I'm finished with this point. He used his influence to ensure or to give her the impression that he has her best interest at heart and ensure that she got her 200 plus $217,200 or whatever $1,000 that was owed to her by the very agencies of state that he has access to. And so there is misbehavior in public office. misbehave in public office because he used his influence in public office not only to have access to this young lady, but in my mind, to create situations for her to be reliant on him for solving them. If his ministry is responsible for getting her stipend, could it be a willful act that her stipends were withheld so she can come under pressure and she got to reach out to him? And then he gonna be the knight in shining armor, her saving grace? These are some of the things we must examine. So it's not just a simple matter of rape and buggery, because they are two different things. Rape and buggery are two different things. Sex could be consensual. Buggery is never consensual according to the laws of this country. Bribery, perversion of the course of justice, witness tampering, misbehavior in public office, those are all charges. Obstruction of justice, those are all charges that a lot of people should be getting. This investigation should not be stopping at Darmlal. Who were the people who aided him to get the money? Who were the people who received the complaint from the child several months ago and did not act on it? Who are those people? I asked yesterday, is it that Ali didn't see the letter? Or is he covering his ass by saying he didn't see the letter? Or is it that somebody was attempting to cover Darmlal's ass by not ensuring that the letter go upward? Who are those people? Who are those people? We want to know that. Because all of them are part of the problems in this society. All of them. Priyamani Chan should be interviewed, because it would appear as though she allegedly took part in the efforts to silence the family. Who are the education officers that were used to contact the child and influence her? Those are things we must interrogate. But at the end of it all, it comes to one thing. Rich man's privilege is poor people's pain. Privilege to the powers of that be the corridors of power, privilege to access to money, privilege to controlling state agencies, privilege to influencing the law enforcement agencies. But when every single one of those privileges have been used, the result is a child that is left in pain, a society that is left in pain, a family that is left in pain. It's not a pain that will go away. Every time that child sees a picture of Darmlal, whether on the television or whether in a school building or whether in a public place, she will relive that torture. Every time there's a pageant in her community, she will relive that torture. She will never be normal again. But it's okay. It's okay. Dharamlal got access to money and he has access to power. Combine the two of them, state power and money, and you have an alleged rapist, an alleged serial rapist. I understand. Well, we know of the US issue because we did feature it here on Kams TV. I understand there is now an individual of St. Lucian heritage, I think, who has submitted a statement to somebody somewhere alleging that a very individual misconducted himself. It is alleged that even before becoming minister, as a functionary within the Amerindian Affairs Ministry, this very individual has been carrying on similar acts. Oh, you didn't know that, Paul? I mean, Keith Henry? Yes, you ought to know that. But nobody is doing anything about it. Rich man's privilege, poor man's pain. Because in St. Cuthbert's Mission, there are also allegations of a big shot politician, big shot public figure, big shot with access to the corridors of power and no doubt access to money. There are also allegations of similar behavior. People's girl children are statutorily raped. But with a call to the corridors of power, an investigation will not proceed on several occasions. It is alleged that this big shot impregnated a minor of a family 1 year and paid hush money to the family, and the second year he was going after the younger sister. But these are the people, these are the predators, these are the alleged predators who are walking the corridors of power with their chests pumped up and their shoulders spread, and they claim to be representatives of the people. What if night should turn today? If only night should turn today. Or if people should be bold enough to step forward and lay their claims, the likes of Dharamlal may never see the light of day again. The likes of their big shot friends in places like St. Cuthbert's Mission will never see the light of day again. And so I'm repeating the call, I'm repeating the encouragement. If you have been victimized in such a way, if you have been violated in such a way, whether by Dharamlal or any other member of the government or even the society, I think this is an opportune time to step forward. Create your own Me Too movement in Guyana. The long list of people who I understand have been victimized, who have been violated by this kind of behavior, by those in the corridors of power, ought to start stepping forward. They ought to start stepping forward now. Let the chips fall where they may. Let the chips fall where they may. I'm calling on the Guyana Police Force. Release Dharamlal's mugshot. We want to see it. Let us see the crime for which he has been arrested. Let us see his details as you would publish of others. Let us hear when he's going to get a speedy trial, because we're interested in that too. Is there going to be a speedy trial? Kamara Rampasad said that pain will never go away. This child is going to always remember what happened to her, but your people spread it around the world, destroying her character more. We are giving her strength in case you don't even know that. We are standing in her defense in case you don't even know that. We are drawing it to the attention of agencies like UNICEF and human rights and the international governments. This morning, Dr. David Hines is going to be on a program on a United States of America radio station to talk about the misbehavior of a sitting minister in government, the alleged misbehavior, sexual misbehavior of a sitting minister of government. But the likes of Kamal wouldn't want that to happen, because then the world is getting to see the evil that is the PPP. I keep telling y'all to deal with the PPP and the evil acolytes. You have to do it publicly. To do it in silence is to set yourself up for defeat. Not by fear, but foul means. This child said something of note. She said, if I am to be known by this, then let me be known by this, but I will also be known as the one who stood up for my Amerindian, my indigenous sisters. Read our notes. I will also be known as the one who stood up for my indigenous sisters. And so she's quite aware that they're going to try to pull her through the mud and all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, she wants justice not only for herself, but her indigenous sisters. And we are helping her in that light. This is not tainting her character, destroying her character. Dharamlal single-handedly, as a matter of fact, Dharamlal, with the help of the power of the state, has done damage to her character, because in fact, her character has not been destroyed. Her character has not been destroyed. It is the character of Dharamlal that has been exposed. Let's keep that in mind. People are being interviewed across the world on this matter. The story of his arrest was carried by a foreign-based newspaper. I read it last night. And so people are seeing the slips of the PPP in office. Interest is growing. They will start to research them. And so the question I asked earlier, where did this public servant get all of this money? $10 million a few days ago, $1 million yesterday. That's $11 million in a couple of days, right? I mean, y'all could say even saving and so on. I think this is an opportune time for the Auditor General to step in, especially after the local government debacle, all the bribery that was passing and so on. This is an opportune time for the Auditor General to step in and let us understand how all monies are accounted for or not accounted for. Have you thought about that? This can be seen as a singular issue. This is not about rape alone. It's rape and a whole series of crimes, alleged rape, and a whole series of crimes to cover up or allegedly cover up rape as alleged by the alleged victim. These are the things we have to go after. not Nigel Hughes, for taking the case. I see a lot of people criticizing Nigel for taking the case. Was Nigel wrong to take the case? We can discuss that too. But when we're going to accuse Nigel of doing the wrong thing to take the case, let us consider this. Hughes, Fields, and Stobie. Hughes, Fields, and Stobie. It's a partnership. I saw the release yesterday and I saw Nigel signed as a partner. He's perhaps 1/3 of the equation. Do you believe Fields and Stobie are concerning themselves with the politics or the racism, or they care more about their profit line? Do you think that Nigel Hughes alone could determine whether or not he took that case? I doubt it. But, of course, Nigel can defend himself on that if he is going to even spare you a minute to talk about it. What I'm just thinking, as a partner, Hughes, Fields, and Stobie, it's a firm. No one man can decide I taking a case or not, or I refusing a case. But I want to point this out to you. A lot of people believe that lawyers have a responsibility to get their clients off scot-free. Lawyers have a responsibility to ensure their clients get a fair hearing and justice prevails. Fair hearing and justice prevails. It is not their responsibility to get an acquittal. Many of them work for an acquittal because it puts their names out there and so on. But really and truly, as far as I understand it, they are responsible for ensuring that their clients get a fair hearing and justice prevails. And so if justice is going to prevail by the individual being incarcerated, lawyers are supposed to ensure that justice prevails. It's 3 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. The lines are open. Yesterday, a lot of you had a lot to talk about, and I wasn't able to take all of your calls and play all of your voice messages. So I'm doing that early this morning. Let's talk. Rich man's privilege, poor man's pain. Having been arrested, should Daramla continue to be on administrative leave? Or should he be interdicted? Or should he be fired altogether? Let's talk about that. Because when the ordinary man and woman gets arrested,
good morning.
They get interdicted or they get dismissed. Should Daramla be interdicted or dismissed? Or should he remain on administrative leave? Again, rich man's privilege, poor man's pain. Caller, you're live.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning to the listeners and viewers. Mr. Amsterdam, I want to know where, like you said, where is the Auditor General? Where is Suku? Looking into where to get, because they talk about money laundering in this country, yeah? How much money you could spend, account how much you have or you're spending, you know? So where is Suku looking into it to see where to get his money from? Okay, and the next thing, Priya in Parliament hollering for rape, okay? Damalal talking about dildo, Kwame Mukai molesting the little boys. So I don't know what the PPP party really into, you know? That's my take.
Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Call your live, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, caller, you're live.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. I would like to share my 2 cents. I feel that it's such a sad day for Guyana and Guyanese. I know that as individuals, we all would have had experiences with cases like those. I think it was last year the young lady from Buxton committed suicide. Remember you had her folks on the program?
Yes, might be 2 years ago, but yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So maybe as a follow-up, if some people could actually like hear from, how, because I'm certain that those people still struggling the loss of their child. So, I mean, it would be good in this time to bring back somebody so that, we can get like a little update or whatever, so some of them would actually see that this thing is for real and people do struggle years after the victims would have left this earth. But I'm praying that justice will prevail and everybody, it would start a Me Too movement where people could come forward and, say actually so that he wouldn't be able to get off. But, God bless you as always and keep the fight going. 2025, we going for it. So you have a blessed day and be good to yourself. Bye-bye.
Thank you, caller. Somebody is asking if you will be, if Damlal will be paid while on leave. That is what administrative leave is. When somebody gets administrative leave, basically they get permission to be absent. And so once they get permission to be absent, they get paid for their absence. It's absence with pay. And so in short, the Guyanese people are asked to foot the bill. Right? The Guyanese people are asked to foot the bill while this individual is running around dealing with his domestic and sexual situations allegedly created by himself. And so should Guyanese have to foot that bill. Call A Live, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam and the viewers in Guyana and in the diaspora. Karma is a great guy, or whosoever he is. And what goes around comes around. And like Dr. Hines said, leave the PPP alone. They themselves gonna fall. And I do hope the wicked and evilous cabal and the entourage getting to see the atrocity that reaching up with them. This law don't sleep. When was Robin, that girl from Islington, my village, they give her what they call terrorist charge. When the guys protest, they give them terrorist charge. And what that Darren Lal do? You see how karma does pay out? That is what they must take and consider. See how things just pay off. And know that evil things just turn back to them. Another thing, the international community, we fighting, we licking up, we licking down. I really and truly feel that we should protest. I mean, you said this case is we gotta focus on the rape thing, but the international community, they is the players that fueling this fire, and they should give answers. Why they so silent? They don't know about democracy. They're looking stupid. The Canadians, the Americans, and the UK, they should come out and say something. They should come out and say something. Let people's voices be heard, and let it prove to the world that they're a country that dealing with democracy. And that is my take this morning. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, June. Cameron, come to the front of the class, girl. I like your ideas. You know, last evening I was saying that. I said two things last evening to a friend of mine. Call Holy Line, please. I said you have to note that the racist has turned to black people role model. Black people role model. To look into his interest in this matter. It's an admission that those among his ranks ain't got no class, can't come nowhere close to Nigel Hughes, the black man's role model in this country. That's an admission. And secondly, I said, I believe he rushed to take Nigel because he would rather have Nigel on his side than on the side of that child. So, very well said, June. I concur. Call A Live, good morning.
Morning, neighbor. Blessed new day, blessed new day. And I'm so, you see, when you see positive people thinking in one accord, it can't go wrong. And just as you see, I was reasoning with a friend that the only reason that Darmilal take Nigel Hughes is because he know that if he go for any other, it's possible that he gonna be on the side of the girl. And he know how bad, the bad position he would be in. But you know, the good thing about it, the showing up the ugly self all the time. Because with all the bad things, what they talk about Nigel Hughes, he can't spell, he can't read, he can't do them kind of thing. Darmilal decision to choose Nigel Hughes for representing speak volume. So all the trolls would just come on and got a lot of nonsense for that. They should take the one into consideration. Another thing, the international community is one that helped Darmilal for their right way there with the silence. All and Guyanese, even the trolls, Guyanese that represent the government and the opposition and the neutral ones should take this into consideration that these foreigners, these ambassadors and them only here for their own interests. They're here for their own interest. Then they're here for help Guyanese. They're there for the own interest. And this case, you'll be seeing the attitude of them, and we should take that into consideration. And last but not least, all of the wickedness and the disrespectful attitude in these young politicians, these just come politicians, them in the government, all is being fueled by the disrespect from Barry Jack Dio. All. When you look, Priya Manik Chan is being spiled by Barry Jack Dio. Vindhya Prasad is being spiled by Barry Jack Dio. Nigel Darmilal is being spiled. But when you listen them, when you hear how they talk, Charles Ramson Jr., when you hear how these individuals talk, you could tell, you understand, it's because they're being sheltered by Barry Jack Dio. So the field is so untouchable. But as the caller just now say, that, oh, karma, so big time. Karma's so big time, you know. And I repeat it when Nigel, you would say, you know, move out the way and let them fall. They will fall by themselves. And when they fall, it's like a ripe pawpaw. They will fall and splatter. Yeah, because they are evil. They are wicked. Priya Manik Chan is, I look at that sister. You could see that the sister, you know, is you could see from her structure that she seems to be a good person, but she just gets spoiled. She just gets spoiled by the evil leadership in the PPP. And which name following Vindhya Prasad, they're close behind. Close behind. You could tell that Vindhya Prasad, at least this is my observation, that she get good reasonable upbringing.
Caller.
But because she under a camp that is so lawless,
Caller.
that she end up with in the same way.
Caller.
Yes, my brother.
I want to get into your head.
Yes, my brother.
Some philosopher said,
Uh-huh.
money and power, right, only magnifies who you are.
Yeah.
Money and power only magnifies who you are.
I understand that. I understand that. But I'm just giving my own personal observation of the
I understand. I'm only sharing my thoughts with you. Yes. Money and power only magnify who you are.
Respect that. Respect that.
If you're good at heart, no amount of money gonna change that.
So true. But the umbrella these individuals are under, we call the PPP. And I want to remind the listening and viewing public that this PPP is no way the PPP of Dr. Chedi Jagan. This PPP was hijacked by the most evilest and wickedest politician that Guyana could ever see and know of in Barajak Dio, followed by Anil Nandalal. The two most wickedest and evilest politicians that Guyana ever graced. These two men, and this way they're taking the lead. This way they're taking the lead from. But the ugliness is showing up every single day. And let we don't forget about Sue story with Jack Dio. Let we don't forget there's a next one we should come out there with numbers and protest about Jack Dio got to answer for Sue's story. He get too comfortable and he got to answer for it. Have a blessed and wonderful day, my brother. Blessed love.
Thank you, Carlo. Call over the line, please.
Hi, Kidaki. Good morning. Actually, Daramlal wasn't arrested, you know. He was taken by his lawyer to the police station where he sat on a bench. And he posed the $10 million, this $1 million or how much dollar bail. But I want to call on people, let us stand together for the indigenous people. We need private investigation, okay? Because no justice will be served. He's already contending that to himself that he paid $10 million or how much. I think that probably smally money. And no investigation. We know what's going on. No investigation will be done. That child took her time and she penned. She put pen on paper. What happened? Like what? I can go back to what Mr. Paul Slow did when the president said want him to promote his friends. You understand? And we must hold on together, unite, cooperate, and we need an private investigation. We need a private investigation. And all the other indigenous females that Daramlal did that too, let them come out and speak out. It's already out there. A government minister, he's a molester and pedophile, a raper. Let them come out and let's have a proper investigation be done. Thank you. You have a good day.
Caller, thank you for holding your life.
Yes, good morning to you and all my black brothers and sisters. Can you hear me clear?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Well, I'm going to deal with Mr. Yu this morning. I'm going to talk about that. It is very offensive to me that when the wicked PPP leaders and members commit dangerous act towards black people in Guyana and Amerindian, they always run for him. Because you know why? First God, I'm going to tell my black brothers this why. It's to keep them out from prison. I'm going to explain it too. Because I always repeat my university name. Look, listen, learn, and then talk. A black brother came out and said that PPP then pay him to go and kill Waddle, our black brother. But when he get there, somebody else went and killed him. But the point is, he already take the money and go for kill a black man like him. And who was his lawyer? Mr. Hughes. Let me move on. The DPP lady will buy black man land for $1. And him didn't want to pay more. Who represent her? Mr. Nigel. Let me move on again. A young Kuli girl, we're sorry for saying Kuli because you stop me from saying Kuli. A young Indian girl was working at the gold board. She thief billions, they say, but she thief billions. Who represent her? Mr. Nigel. Did she spend a day in jail, all of them? No. It is alleged that Mr. Nigel tell her, get pregnant and I will keep you out of jail and pay back the money. I need nothing more about the case. Are you still there?
Yes, we are.
Oh, beautiful. Move on. Now this criminal here, yes, we're going to use the word criminal, that rape. Now rape.
Alleged.
Okay, good. Alleged. He take Nigel to keep him out of jail. And this will be Nigel. This will be Mr. Nigel's defense for him. Your Honor, my client have a serious problem. And he acknowledge it now. He realize it now. And I am asking you for my client to have treatment. To go and get the Lord, that he could be a man tomorrow out in the street. My client, Your Honor, my client has been abused from a young age. And we all know that that's keep damaging you and things, but to the end of the day, table, my client do not deserve to go to prison. He deserves treatment. And the judge going to call both of them, the particular lawyer, in my chamber. Listen to me. What Mr. Nigel said is right. His client admits he have a serious problem, and we are here, and we have to give him that. It is done layout already with an anil going to put a judge for agree with Mr. Nigel. Bingo! And he will not spend a day in jail. Trust me. Trust me. Tomorrow morning, I got something to say. So, my black brother and sister, tune in tomorrow. A friend tell a friend, Flash Garden got something important to say. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you for your call.
Thank you for the work.
Enjoy your day.
Hey, good morning, Kadaki. Do you recall the name Anthony Weiner, a politician who exposed himself here in the United States? Anthony Weiner did time because of that. He did not rape anyone, but he just exposed himself. The main issue I am having here with this rape case, alleged rape case, is that government knew about this thing months before. But the issue is that they kept it away from the public's eye because of the local government election. It would have cast the PPP in a very, 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 very damaging image. So the PPP kept this away from the public.
Caller live, good morning. Caller, you're live. Caller live.
Kedaki, I would describe the situation here right now with the government as self-destruction. I would go a little bit even extreme, self-annihilation. How many times could these people keep shooting themselves in the foot? Right. It just keeps happening over and over and over again all the time. It happens, and they're lying to the bone. I mean, this thing has happened a few months ago. And of course it was reported to people that the young lady could have confided in and these kind of things, and our parents and others, and I'm sure it would have gotten to the president, who claimed that he did not hear about this not until all of us heard about it on social media, right? He's lying, straight out lying, because the person in the community who is the conduit for the young lady and this minister, right? This official is a PVP person. So I'm sure the young lady would have told her what happened to her, and she would have relayed all these things to everybody who has authority, including the president. So why does he say that he didn't hear about this, right? He's lying, barefaced lies. Secondly, let's look at the situation in the money, the bribe money or the compensation money, whatever you want to call it. This, like I said again, this happened months ago, and obviously he did not pay any money to this woman. I don't know if anyone was asked for or what, but they didn't have no money in the past back then, right? But all of a sudden, it's all blown up. Everybody knows about it. Now he's trying to pass it. He's trying to pay some money, whatever. So this young lady, our parents or family members or whoever or friends, whoever coached her to accept this money, to change her statement, they should think about what about if this never came. They never came in the open. Oh, no one never knew about this. What about that, right? Then they would have just trampled on our rights all the time. They have no respect for these people, right? They think Amerindian people, Native people, and black people are nothing in this country, right? So they think that they could do these people anything. So they should the Amerindian people in the whole. Come next election time, of course, they should look and see what's really going on with them, how these people really regard them as nothing, right? Because if this didn't bust out in the open, they would have tried to pass a piece of money or whatever. They would have think to themselves, you know what, this is a little girl from the bush, so we could do anything, right? And they would sweep it on under the rug. So we should not allow this kind of crap to happen, and we should be serious about this. The Amerindian community in the interior, they should come down to Georgetown and join these protests, right? Because we look out for them as well. And let's get it. This government, they should know what they're doing. We feel this, and we're not gonna stand by and accept this crap no more from them. And I also would like to say that, seeing that is in the open, I hope they don't think that they could go and think that, because I heard that they pass either 10 million or 5 million. Don't give them up, right? I wanted to tell it to whoever collect the money, don't divorce no crime. You don't collect the money. Collect the money, let him pay the price. You pay the money and let him pay the price with his freedom. He should go to jail. And if it was for me, you know where you should be going. So don't pass back no money, right? And this government, they are so damn corrupt, they keep killing, they keep shooting themselves in the foot all the time. And they're going to continue doing it until the international community I think they already understands, until they decide to act on what they understand or what they comprehend. Because they see what these people are doing is really, really, really bad for humanity. And they're with them. So we need to send a strong message. Let's keep the protest up and push back seriously against these people, this government.
Thank you, caller.
That's what I said. Thank you.
Me say no make them
Call all the line.
take advantage of you. Nah, yeah. Young girl going to school, yeah. No follow nobody. Cause that man where call you sexy could be twice your daddy. Man, no time rough like Greta. Plus your mama don't have it. Please me, I beg you, no make them come mess up your body. And you dirty man, leave the people beneath them alone. You dirty man, you know it's wrong. So leave the people beneath them alone. It's a disgrace, man. Ooh, you're just a waste man. A waste man.
Just a waste man. Oh yeah.
Hey, mommy, I feel listen to your daughter. Once you tell her she not happy, you see the signs and turn a blind eye. Me, I beg you to stop it. Cause that man where you have to come check you. When you let him tell a story, you left your young girl all alone. Not take your daughter, sell her to no dirty man. You dirty man. Leave the people beneath them alone.
Leave them.
Dirty man, you know it's wrong. So leave the people beneath them alone. It's a disgrace.
It's a disgrace, man.
Ooh, you're just a waste man. A waste man. Uno fi talk up. If you no know them thing you want.
Nobody wait till it's too late.
Alright, now if it's sound the alarm, uno fi talk up. If you no know them thing you want, and if you know and not say a thing you want.
Call A Life.
A blessed good morning to you, Mr. Kadaki, and to the rest of the Guyanese nation. And congratulations for the song we are playing. And not only I want to add a little piece of the same song. Not just the dirty man them, but them demon-possessed mind and heart men them and women. Leave other people's life alone. God bless humanity with freedom of choice to make decisions, but does not violate His word, His will, and His way. And so, Mr. Kadaki, I want to speak directly to the young woman, if she can hear me. Congratulations, my dear. I am so sorry that you've been hurt in that way and you've been offended in that way. But God is going to use this to make a blessing of your life. I am predicting this and I'm declaring the word of God, the perfected word of God, that you are going to be used in the ministry. This same thing that happened to you is going to become a ministry that you're going to bring deliverance and healing to many souls. And many people are going to be coming down and find themselves in this situation or before they reach this situation. I predict that God is going to use you and bless you to enable His word to be enforced in this universe, regardless of where you go, my sister. Because what you have done there is that is showing that God already is having His hands on you and He's already using you. And I am saying to all the righteous-minded people in Guyana and all who can hear my voice around this world, let us stand in support. Stand in support of supporting this girl is standing in support of supporting God, righteousness, and truth. The evil that is done upon this nation and the evil that's portrayed all around the universe has to come to an end, but we're dealing with Guyana and Guyana's situation right now. All right-minded Guyanese, I don't care which party it belongs to, because this has nothing to do with politics and politicians right now. This is beyond them. And money can buy a bed, but it cannot buy sleep. So I want Mr. Damlal and all the ministers and all those who have money and think that they're rich and they're powerful, a fool and their money shall soon part. Money can buy a bed once again, but it cannot buy sleep. So all righteous-minded Guyanese and all righteous-minded people around the world, please stand in support of this, because this is a blessing in this, guys. This girl, what she have done here, would drive the nail into the coffin of these wicked, evil-minded people and these dirty-minded, possessed-minded people in general. Mr. Kadaki, thank you very much. Mr. London, thank you very much. And to the pastor who had come out there yesterday in the protest, thank you very much. And to the rest of the churches, them, and rest of the religious body, y'all be an example of righteousness and not a sample of wickedness. Please, I am not accusing y'all, but I'm declaring the word of God without fear or favor, because I speak truth to all powers regardless what. Have a blessed day, Kadaki. God bless you and continue your goodness, my brother. Have a blessed day, Guyanese. We're going to get there regardless of what.
Thank you,
have a blessed day.
Leave them, don't be mine. You know it's hard. So leave the people, leave them alone. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace, man. Ooh.
Call it live.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, caller.
Yeah. Now I agree with what many persons are saying. But when we talk about rape, I could remember a few eons back when Premanichan cried out for rape. And many persons, had lots to say. Can it be that prayer was really a voice in the wilderness crying rape, and we didn't take it for what it really was? When you hear certain things, you got to study a lot of things. And there are many women out there who may be in top jobs, top positions, and they are being viciously sexually abused by their partners. Now, coming back to this girl, I am with this girl, but I am against the parents for doing what they're doing. I did a poem with human trafficking and sex slave, and I want that this thing that this girl has opened, somebody must take it upon themselves to make it bigger and to blow it up great in Guyana. The thing about human trafficking and sex slave, because it's a care place where the parents have sold this girl into this sex slave trade, because to them $10 million is good money. Guyana copies everything from America. In America, that girl would have been made to divorce her parents and to go for her justice. Guyana must not only copy summer and grades instead of standard and farm grade. They must copy all the pleasantries of America. In so doing, they must copy children divorcing the parents when the need arises. Now with the lawyer, I could remember a few years back or months back where the same PPP cuts out the same law firm, and the person is heading the case that he was a corrupt lawyer and he takes a lot of dirty money to do what he has to do. It has shown quite clearly what is done in darkness must come to light. Now last, yesterday, after the ramblings of the madman Barrett, he is claiming that he wants to work together with PNC, when they had the elections of 2020, they told themselves that they won outright. Now in this election, without the assistance of AFC or anybody else, it has shown quite clearly the strength of PNC now as a party. And I don't think at this juncture that Leader Norton should accept the olive branch from Barrett. Leader Norton should put it out there. There is a petition languishing in the court. We want the results. We want the results of the just passed local government election. People who were those persons who homes it destroyed in Amelia's ward, Maka, and this place the other day, Foothill, and those people who is spitefully attempting to remove from Peter's Hall, all of them must come on the table, and a decision must be made that the people could have what they are entitled to. And we as Africans, we must get what we own our ancestral lands before anything is done. And we are not gonna join with the PPP, because look at this story here with Nandalal. Do we want, as the Africans in Guyana, to be associated with the likes of the PPP, when instead of plowing, sorry for using that word, and plundering little Amerindian girls, they start to plunder the African girls too? The African man will not stand up for that in his home. He's not going to stand up with many of them. So I want Leader Norton, and I know he's a person with sense, not to accept this wicked Barrett Jagdeo judgment. Barrett suddenly realized, and he knew it was always in the cards, that he is not a power. And he realized that after spending billions of dollars to buy an election, that he lost outright, because his people did not support him, because his people realized to themselves that he is no good, so they are not supporting him. And we must not accept this olive branch in this juncture of our upward mobility in regaining and running a proper country. We may have some pitfalls and some bad ones, but those bad ones in the PNC is not all the bad ones in the PNC in equal to one good one of the PPP. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call.
Yeah.
I got a voice note to play. Fast and Furious.
Hey, good morning, Kadaki. Do you recall the name Anthony Weiner?
Good morning, Mr. Kadaki. I have mixed sentiments pertaining to the Dharamlal saga. Now I am saying clearly, I was disappointed to see who is representing Dharamlal. There's so many things that will leave you to ask yourself, are our people serious? Why did he choose Nigel Hughes' office, or Nigel Hughes, whether it's Fields and Stobie and whatever it is? Why did this man choose there? After all that they did and said when Mr. Hughes represented other people, what they did, including he himself, it leaves you to wonder why, and why did they accept it? Anyhow, I'm saying He got arrested for a couple hours and he's already out on bail. And it must be our taxpayers' money that bail him. I don't have no trust in the justice system or these people. These people have so many ways that they're going to make things look different. But it's not how we see it. It is being done through the back door in a different way. But give the public a different idea about what is going on. I know them so well that I'm not even buying that Dharamlal would get one day in jail. Whether for this case. This case, they're trying their utmost best to see how they can sweep it under the carpet. But I am saying, my God have the last say. And he is going to pay for everything that he did. And it leaves you to wonder if they said that burn up in the fire and had their own testimonies and somebody wanted them to shut up. You know? So let's wait and let's look and see what is really going on in this place. And I think we cannot sit down and just take what these people say, because these people aren't trustworthy. These people will lie all the time for everything. So we have to be vigilant and we have to think. And the next thing, Bara Jagdeo have the audacity coming out to say he wants to work with the opposition. He has a plan. Aubrey better be careful with this man. He has a terrible plan. This man is a trickster. This man sits down and he think what he could do to people and how he could get it done. This man, you don't trust this man for nothing. Not even to shake his hand. But you know, people don't really understand what is really going on. So a lot of them come and say, yes, join with you. And the next thing that will hit them, I do hope they can take it. For anyone to join with Bara Jagdeo, he has a lot of work to do. You know how much things he got to fix, right? And he's not going to do it. So, I do hope some good sense prevail in the opposition and they think before they act. Thank you.
Good morning, Kadaki. Is it necessary for Nigel youths to defend such a twerp? Goodbye.
Well, I think I answered that question already, or I shared my opinion on that already. Call you live.
Morning, Kadaki.
Morning, caller.
Am I on or?
Yes, you are.
Yes, morning Kadaki and morning Guyana. And just a little 2 cents on my part here in reference to Nigel Dalmoral. And it seems to me that things are going backward, where Dalmoral had to give right to the president to be on leave, paid leave most likely, and the payments, the parents, and it just seems like a case that will linger in until the next thing comes up, because just like Bascom, just like all the other cases, and we thought that would break the camel's back. But it seems like for Guyana, nothing seems to will break the camel's back. The international community, I would wonder what their thoughts are. They have not uttered a single word of any time. And in my opinion, this thing may just go away. But unless we keep the pressure on, right, we still keep protesting, this thing is going to be swept under the rug and is going to be forgotten. This guy have multiple allegations, and this time it even involved a higher up in the police department. So again, we've got to wonder how this thing is going to play out, if it's going to play out just like all the others. And the justice system in Guyana, the DPP is the PPP. The guy was released in record time compared to others who were charged with trumped up stuff. But we see what's happening already with his release and his favorable treatment that he's getting. And the way I'm looking at it is that we are just looking at him. We also need the investigation, and you can't expect a proper investigation in Guyana. What the opposition should be calling for, and they have said independent investigation. Who in Guyana is independent? None. So you got to call for other outside of Guyana, another RSS, another RAS from the Caribbean. So we've got to just watch this thing and how it's going to play out. And we may have an inkling of how it's going to go. That's my take.
Thank you, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, viewers. Nigel Darrell, I'll know why I take Mr. Nigel Hughes, because that is the best law firm in Guyana. But Guyanese continue the pressure, continue holding out for justice for that young lady. And all the mothers that is in Guyana, make sure that you protect your children, you protect your daughters, and you protect your son. All parents in Guyana, make sure you protect your children. Speak to them. Tell them what's going on in the world today. Enlighten them. And anything that happened to them, they must go home and say something. Don't be afraid. Guyanese continue the protests. Justice for that little girl. Thank you.
Caller, you're live. Caller, you're live.
Yes, good morning, Karaki, and good morning to all the viewers, brothers and sisters. That man must be brought to justice, because it has been going on all the time. Let him pass through the justice system. Let them stray him. I know they would say that, well, they don't have no evidence and so on. But there is evidence, because if all these alleged stories that I'm hearing, and that he pays bribe and all those people should be coming up, which is the girl's mother and father, I understand. All those people should be coming up and say, yes, he pays bribe, and once he pay a bribe, it means that he's guilty. And that's my take on it, right? And people would say, oh, it's politically motivated and this and so on. Well, let me tell everybody something. Those who don't know, politics, you eat politics. What you wear have politics in it. The way you travel in the country and all of that, it have politics. When you go to the supermarket, it have politics because it's the rules, is the legislation by which the party in power govern. That is what going down to each and everybody. Is according to the way they govern, is so this kind of clothes could come in the country, or this food stuff get expensive or get cheap, or whatever. So politics is in everything. So don't say, oh, it's politically motivated. Politics in it. It is politics for the accused because he have power. So don't look at it that the opposition or the people outside trying to make a problem. Oh, they're saying the man do this thing and he didn't do nothing and it's just politics. They want to put pressure on him. It's politics for he too because he have power and he have money and he have influence. And if he wasn't a political figure, he wouldn't be able to do those things and get off all those times allegedly. He wouldn't be able to do it. So it's about politics. It's the politics that got the country suffering right now. Okay?
Thank you, Carlo.
And I'm not finished if you don't.
Go ahead.
Yes. And if this thing continue with this particular individual or other people in authority, a lot of things, you know the domino effect of that? The domino effect is that a lot of men going to go in jail. A lot of children going to commit suicide. I don't want these things to happen. If this continue, the domino effect going to be dangerous for the country. Yeah, because you know why a lot of men going to go to jail? Because they might jump on the wrong person child. And that person going to throw the law aside because the law ain't straight right now. And they're going to take revenge. And then, they're quick for jail you as the outer person who in the government circle. They quick for dash the book and throw away the keep on you and all these things, So this guy's supposed to be brought to justice. This thing should not go under the rug. But you know something? I don't like to say certain things, but I realize that words have power. Because I'm not there, because I like to lead by example. I don't like to just talk. I like to be a part of the movement, And so people should keep the pressure up. This pressure should keep up because this is a serious matter. Unless it happening in the jungle, it could get close to home. If nobody can stop it, it could get close to home. It might be you tomorrow. It might be me, my family tomorrow, and that's how it is. Right? So government official, they must be held accountable for lying to the public. I don't know if that is the law of the country. I don't know if that is in Guyana law. I don't know. But government official, let's look in England. The former prime minister, he had party at his place, right? And he was lying. He lost his job. Even out of the party right now. He resigned from, not the party, from a member of parliament right now. Just for that one lie. But he's trying to cover up. In America, when a congressman lie or so, and they find him out, he got to go up to face the justice. Why this government in Guyana keep lying all the time, bare face to the public, and then there is no law against it in Guyana? Kadaki, you could help me there. I don't know. I don't know if they ain't get no law for people. It's like government officials just coming out and blatantly lying to the public, and the smallest child could see that is something different happening, And all the church that was silent all the time, let them stay silent, except Nigel London. All the rest was silent, let them stay silent because I don't know which God they're serving, honestly. I am a Christian. I don't even like to say Christian because the word Christian is so messed up. You understand? I just like to say I'm a believer in Christ. Because all of them, what they're saying, nothing except for one man. So don't let it come out now, because maybe when they come out now, they might come out and back in what the guy named the accused man and say, oh, let's forgive him. Oh, he this and that. Forgive him? You know what he's doing. God does forgive you, but when you keep doing the same thing all the time, you don't forgive you. Dash you aside, man. So that's my little take about it. Just have a nice day, and let's keep the fire burning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good morning, Kadakian listeners. This Black Law Forum with Nigel Hughes as the head is selling the soul and the dignity for oil money, because it's the oil money they're going to use for pay Nigel Hughes and the law firm for representing this guy. They should recuse themselves from this matter.
Somebody gonna take the job, you know. Call it life.
Good morning, Brother Kodaki. Blessings to you and your listeners.
Call it your volume. Call it your volume.
Okay, can you hear me better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that okay? I said I would like to be the protagonist on the topic this morning regarding Mr. Hughes's involvement in the Dharamlal case. And there are some questions I'm going to pose to Guyanese this morning. What if Mr. Hughes, taking this case, that he is trying to be able to bring and illuminate some light to the to doing a comparative analysis of what it means to have the privilege and access to power, of when someone is accused, how they're treated, versus a common Guyanese citizen who doesn't have resources, and providing to the country a different point of view in his representation of Dharamlal, to show us what's the difference in terms of power, privilege, and money versus representation under poor people and how cases are handled. I think we probably need to interrogate, because Mr. Hughes is a very astute man, and of course he is a businessman, and I don't think at this point in his career and his business that he would do anything, as well as us witnessing his true advocacy for what is right in our communities, whether regardless of color, race, creed, ethnicity, that he would take a case that will certainly stain or bring a level of condemnation to his firm and to his business. I think that there are some things that we need to be paying attention to, and they're the things that what is not being said or what is not being seen by the actual eye. And so, to me, my humble opinion, Mr. Hughes taking this case is also from a perspective of him illuminating the very core of the system, of the judicial system in Guyana, of the criminal system in Guyana. I think what he's doing to citizens, yes, I am sure that he will represent his client to the best of his ability, but to me, there is also the subliminal messages and the comparison that he wants to be able to bring to light to the Guyanese community about not only the government, but also about what what due process is under law for very common citizens versus what it's like when you have access to power and money. And I think we have to start paying attention to what's not being said and what is not being seen from the public, from the natural eye. It's easy for us to be able to critique. Mr. Hughes is a very astute man, and his track record shows that he has stood up for the least of these. He has definitely stood and advocated for all types of Guyanese in all situations. So while I think we should be criticizing him, and I'm not saying we should not, but I also think that we need to be thinking about what is the message with him representing Dharamlal, because he understands that this is I would say, a high visibility alleged crime. He understands that this is definitely something that is internationally seen. And so perhaps he is using also his expertise to show and to teach and to bring awareness to the other side of the spectrum of the law and what it's like to be able to be either a public figure or to be a minister, and these crimes being alleged against him and how he is being treated, everything. Because the example of it is, pure example, Dharam Lal walked into a police station yesterday and within hours he was freed. And let's compare and contrast that to most of the Guyanese that have been accused allegedly of a crime for things that was less impactful, or let us say less criminal, and we saw what happened. So we got to be paying attention to the things that is not to the very natural eye, as opposed to us just being able to say, well, oh, Mr. You should not do it. Maybe he's doing this case to be able to bring a level of sort of like daylight to the system in Guyana. And that is my humble opinion this morning.
Thank you,
Have a
caller.
blessed one.
You dirty man! You dirty man!
Yeah, just a waste man. A waste man. Uno fi talk up. If you know that.
Nigel Darmlal case. You know, it boggles the mind with the way men think. Now I'm talking about Nigel Hughes. I heard you ask a question, is Nigel wrong to take the case? I come out plain and say yes, he's wrong. You see, Nigel Damlal doesn't deserve no proper representation. Nigel Damlal deserves to be sent to jail. And the statement that Nigel Hughes made, I know what to say, because we heard before Nigel Hughes knows too, that this is not the first accusation that was made against Nigel Damlal. So we understand innocent until proven guilty. But in all of our sides, in Nigeria's side, we know that the dog guilty. We know he's guilty. There ain't got no presumption there. He's guilty. That's the man's character. And I think that Nigel Hughes shouldn't take it. And I heard you also say that his fields, his Hughes, Fields, and Stobie. But Kedaki, Nigel Hughes is the face of that organization or company or firm or whatever it is. He's the face. You ever heard any Toby represent anybody, Fields represent anybody, Nigel Hughes bring recognition to that firm. So everybody will point a finger at Nigel Hughes. You remember, I know if you remember, if you saw this movie with Al Pacino, Dark Day Afternoon. You must go and look it up. Look at that movie and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I think if Nigel Hughes go down that road, that would please my heart. Because there was a judge in that movie that always used to be against Al Pacino as a top lawyer. And when he committed the same offense of rape against a young girl, he called Al Pacino, who he sent to jail for contempt of court once or twice, called him to represent him. The case started nice, but look at the movie and you will see what happened in the end. Al Pacino's sent him straight to jail, and he was his attorney. I pray that Nigel Hughes look at that movie and does the same to Damlal, because that's where he belong, in jail or dead. That's where people like Damlal belong. Thank you.
Thank you. Like I said, Nigel can defend himself. But as an educator, I want to say that there's something called silent partners. I don't know the construct of Hughes, Fields, and Stobie. I don't know what the arrangements are. But yes, Nigel might be the face of the business. of the forum, but that doesn't mean that Nigeria has final say or all of the say. Youth Fields and Stobie suggest a partnership. Are the other two silent partners? Is Nigeria managing partner? How are decisions arrived at? I don't know. But I am saying again, I don't see why we should have a problem with the brother doing his job. Quite frankly, it's his job. Sometimes we have to separate our politics from our profession. That's the least I can say on that. You see, we ask people to make a lot of sacrifices fighting for us, you know. We ask people to make a lot of sacrifices fighting for us. Let me just be, like they say, the devil's advocate. Suppose now this is going to represent the biggest payday for Youth Fields and Stobie. Do you believe the other two partners are going to let pass? What you would have done in that position? A lot of us take righteous positions when we're not in that position, you know. But ask ourselves, if it were a situation I found myself in, what I would have done. You know, there's a guy who, one of the PPP foot soldiers in this village, who went about sometimes saying, despite the fact I criticized the PPP and so on, I worked for the PPP. Right? It was when the PPP was doing an outreach in Melanie. After I visited Melanie and I highlighted the problem and so on, I was contacted by the Buxton Falls NDC for the rental of audio equipment, which I do. I provided a service to the NDC, but they interpreted because it was the PPP's outreach that I provided service to the PPP. I work for the PPP. I work for the NDC. Apart from that, I provided a service because it's a regular part of my business. Should I sit and starve because the person who comes to hire me or hire my equipment doesn't share the same opinions as I do? Which one are you going to mind me? Right? What you have to do is have confidence, knowing that I won't be getting into certain kinds of relationship with these people. The PPP can't get me to do anything outside of what I offer as a service to them. And so if they want sound system to rent, I damn well would rent my sound system. What you might gotta know is that I might charge them a price double. This is exactly my pound of flesh or my vengeance. You gotta pay more. A man who comes with the same, who we share the same allegiance and so on, might get a discount. So, you know, sometimes we have to be realistic. Nigel is a lawyer. Nigel works in a law firm. He's a partner in a law firm. There are other two partners that he must be accountable to. They ain't got nothing to do with your politics. Right? I don't even know, well, I don't even know if Nigel is involved in politics the way he once was involved in politics, because I remember he walked away from AP and AFC. Right? He's involved in the representation of his people. He's always out there talking on the side of his people, on the side of the downtrodden and so on. But you want him to do it with a dry mouth? Sorry. I'm very sorry. Right? I'm very sorry. Y'all gonna sustain the business? Sometimes you have to be realistic, and that's all I'm saying. That's all I want to say. We have voice notes. No more calls.
Good morning, Kadaki. The people in Georgetown protesting. You see or hear any of them Amerindian villages people protesting? I said they're quiet. So, you know, to me it tells me something. It's not one or two Amerindian child or children were being raped or abused. And you don't hear them, you know, protesting or making no big noise over it. How long some other people come out and talk, you would never hear about it. They just keep it quiet.
But does that make it right? Sometimes people stay quiet out of fear and intimidation, like we recognize in this particular issue. I'm saying this individual, the alleged rapist, the accused, has access to power, has access to money, has access to the state agencies, has influence and so on. That alone, and that is why I respect the strength of this young lady. Because that alone is enough to cause you not to want to utter a word, because you're studying all kinds of things. What will become of me if I come up against this big politician? Right? For the greater part, the Amerindians are people of humble means and humble learning. And so in many instances, the people who they expect to represent them don't represent them because they're involved in the same thing. They see them as the next payday also. Right? As the next nice time. And so they don't get adequate representation from the people who put themselves out there as their representatives. I dare say, I don't know any parent who would really want to stay quiet knowing that their child has been abused. I really don't know.
Good morning, Kadaki and listeners. First of all, I would like to commend the young lady for coming forward and for standing her ground despite that discrepancy with her parents who allegedly took money from Mr. Dharamlal. Then I want to condemn that police superintendent who got himself mixed up. Personally, I think he should go too. Now we know about the ministers, Ministry of Education, Social Services, and the other. Those ministers should also be placed under the Paris School. I particularly asked about if he's going to be paid. For me, that's another way of taking care of your own. And the president is a very disrespectful person to come out and tell the nation that Mr. Dharamlal asked to proceed on leave. He should have been asked to step down. This is the sort of leadership that irks me. For begin with, we have this issue of your questionable qualifications, and you continue to make errors all the time. Now, this is the latest one. You are the president, whether you're being controlled or not. There comes a time when you have to make certain decisions, right? I think that we should continue to put pressure on all of them. Let the international world know what's happening. I believe you guys have started to do that. But it has to be done. That is total disrespect, not only to the nation, right, but to everybody. I don't understand it. And why is Mr. Dharamlal on $1 million bail? If you could pay out allegedly $10 million, you think that $1 million could hurt his pocket? It can't hurt his pocket. And another thing I'm thinking, what's happening with his passport? Because he could jump on the plane and leave Guyana. His passport should have been taken care of, or maybe I'm getting ahead of things because the matter has not reached the court. But there has to be a way to stop him, because from the time he got representation, he was on Facebook disrespecting the nation. That's how pompous these people are. Total disrespect. Thank you. Another thing, Kadaki, we have to keep our eyes on that girl, because while I was reading through those pages, at one time she said she felt like killing herself, right? We don't want that happening. We don't want that happening at all. So we need to keep our eye on the prize. I am seeing a lot of other persons coming forward to claim that they were also victims. Is it possible that we can do something with all of them in terms of defending this young girl? I'm not sure. I'm just feeling my way through things. You know? That's all I will say for now.
Thank you for that voice note.
Again, the oil money run things. Again, the oil money run things.
Sorry for double up, but I wanted to say, Nigel Hughes is one of the supreme attorneys in Guyana, right? So that's the main reason why this animal would have approached Nigel Hughes for I don't know if he did it directly, but the forum approached the forum for representation because they're the best. And also there's an ethical aspect of this as well. We're ethically, I don't think the firm could refuse a client on personal thing or on their own belief or whatever it is. But there must be something ethical about this as well. And thirdly, like you said, they have to live. So be it. I mean, it's a bad situation, but they have to live.
Good morning, Kadaki. I'm in sympathy with that young lady. My daughter went through the same thing at the age of 12, and I get no justice. As I bring that story, I had no way to turn to. Yeah, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. I'm in sympathy with that young lady. I have a daughter, when she was 12 years old. The same thing she went through as this young lady. I had no one to turn to because I was ashamed. I didn't stand in the public because of shame. The police let me down. The judicial system let me down. My daughter is 32 years old and didn't get justice. The policeman who was supposed to protect and serve her was set free. The DPP said not to charge him, but to charge the civilian. The civilian fled this country. And I know I live with it until today, as when I read this thing on social media, I'm in tears. My daughter is deeply affected. There's a wound that will never heal, no matter what. If I am the mother and I am affected terribly by it, what is that child? Sometimes I look at my daughter in her state, and I, as a mother, I just feel like taking my own life because I can't take it. Some people try to tell me your daughter mad, she's being mad. But only if people know, they will say it differently. Have a blessed day.
Thank you for that voice note. And with that voice note, we end today's program. It is 70 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. I'm not even going to play another song. I don't want to say too much more because this voice note, for me, sums it all up. The lifelong suffering that family and child is going to go through. Have a good day. Join Dr. Hines tonight for Politics 101. Join me tomorrow for another program of Guyanese Morning Time. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about the so-called olive branch that has been extended. Okay? Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about that. Have a good time. Goodbye. See you.